Just dust off the mics, boys. It's been a while since we've been in here.
Yeah, where have you all been? Like, I've been sitting
I thought
here.
you were blowing out the candle, the brief candle.
Oh, Jesus.
You know it's in his contract. The first pun always goes to Matt.
Sorry, yeah.
You can cut that out. You say it now, Matty.
Stormed out.
Go. We'll pretend like we're surprised. Ready?
You could not pay me to say that shit.
Jeez. That's usually down your aisle.
Because it was decent? I don't know.
Get Into Geek, episode 1.08, according to the metric code of our podcast. Brief Candle, my name is Mitch Lewis, here with pretty much the full team, without our occasional special guest. Go around the room. Hi, Pitch Matty, doing?
Yo.
Christopher Gibson.
Absolutely, sir. Good evening, morning, afternoon.
Wow.
And the Brendan Gibson. You're here.
Good day.
Good day. I said good day.
Sir. How art thee? On this
Speaking in
jolly
19th
day.
century diction all of a sudden. That's just what we do.
We've had a couple of weeks off. You know, we made the promise and we pretty much kept it up until 107 of doing a podcast.
We're all
a week
blaming
talking
Mitch,
about.
of
Oh no,
course.
by all means, I'll put my hands. I'll put two hands up. It's my fault. I'm not kidding around. You know. And since then we've tried and
Look,
it just hasn't happened.
It worked out well because I teased in the last episode, like, I've got an idea to make us millions of dollars. So this did give us time for me to sort of, work out my patents and my copyrights and get all that paperwork pushed
So
through.
we're how much closer to that idea? We'll see you in a year for episode 1. All right, yeah, Brief Candle. So it's another O'Neill story. I know in one of the last couple of episodes I was saying we're very O'Neill-centric, and it's very similar to the Broca Divide, where they go to a world, O'Neill gets infected by something that's infecting the rest of the population. The other team has to come in and help save him. That's pretty much this. Like we're repeating essentially
Except this time he's
storylines.
gone Captain Kirk and just tried to every alien that he can.
It did not take a long time.
A typical masculine man in power.
Well, unlike Kirk, at least she's not like green or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
So,
Well, it's his first foray. I mean, surely Kirk, the first one he went for, was pretty,
But
standard alien.
technically,
human.
this girl, what was her name? Rhys, you're good with names and stuff. Can you remember this chick's name?
Oh, God.
No.
Cynthia.
Something like that. But if you factor in
It
like,
is.
oh, is it? Oh,
Thank you.
it's not a very alien name.
I thought you just got out of a Rugrats or something.
I mean, Kirk may have gone with the green ladies, but O'Neill's gone with a girl who's technically about a month old. Is that
Yeah.
where we're at?
Hey, don't get into Star Trek. Neelix's a 2-year-old.
I get the reference.
I don't. Now I'm going to have to bloody start watching that show.
That's it. Actually, the first time I watched this episode was before I had sex. So I was about 25. And, but the thing was, I wasn't really worried about certain STDs until, you start having sex. So once I've rewatched it, I'm going, that is totally the world's worst STD.
This is like the ultimate STD, isn't it?
Like
And
you're
now-
dead in a week.
And now, to you, STDs are like Pokemon. Got to catch
right.
them all.
That's right.
Doubt it.
I nearly choked on a pizza then.
I was trying to make a Pikachu reference. It's not working.
Well, you mentioned pizza, and that actually ties into my multi-million-dollar idea.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now based on this, as you can
Pizza
see,
shops already
no. This is based on. So here's my notes, guys. You can see my notes are always written in black, but there's just
very
one.
neat.
Big,
It's so neat.
there's one big thing here in red, and this
Mine's on an iPad, and I don't think it's that.
is iPad. What is this technology you speak of? And I've just got written here in big, bright red letters in capitals. Beautiful women delivering psychotropic pizzas, then belly dancing. And then I've got a little copyright and a TM right after it. That would make you
it's not bad.
millions of dollars.
I wouldn't eat a pizza with the flour on it.
Oh, yeah. You
Well,
ripped
that's
that
the
shit off,
psychotropics, isn't it? Because do you remember she did the little belly dance and he started sort of like
Oh, yeah.
spinning out? I assume that was the
That's
psychotropics.
just like, are you a vegan, O'Neill? Come on. Why would you eat that?
Well, and here's one of my bugbears with
They
this
did call it a cake.
Yeah, with this episode. That was not a cake. I will go to my grave.
Oh, shit.
I will draw a line in
Straight
the
up.
sand.
If they had said pie, you would have been happier.
No, that was a goddamn pizza.
Pizza pie.
That was goddamn pizza. There was sauce on it and there was stuff. It was just prior to we live in a world now where lettuce on a pizza is a thing. Back in 98, that wasn't a thing, so they had to call it a cake. That was a goddamn pizza.
Yeah, but in that world, it's called a cake.
Like, They've
I
travelled
don't think
across the galaxy
I think Telos
in
was
a
Greek, not Italian though. So
Oh, but cake, that's fine.
yeah.
Nah. Line in the sand.
It's on the other side of the galaxy.
Nah.
These people age, they die within 3 months, and you're like, well, they can't call a pizza a cake. That is where I draw the line. Science fiction.
That's it. That's it.
Show's so unrealistic.
Nah.
So we're doing some expedition or not? Like they go to the planet, he fucks a chick, and he starts to age because they age, right?
Yeah.
So his brief candle is. Does that mean his dick? Is that the brief? Is that
Well,
just
she
Slight
did
burning
blow it.
sensation. Is that 2 zings at once?
Zing, zing.
I think you zinged over each other. He said, well, she did blow it, and then what?
And I said just a burning sensation.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, Mitch, you just
Well
fix
done.
that up in editing and figure out which one was funnier, and then just drop the other person's
the rest
microphone
out.
and we fine.
Yeah.
Because jokes are always funny when you go back and explain them as well.
Yeah.
So we've done
Not only
really
that,
well here.
now that you've just listened to it, we'll replay the entire last minute right now. Well, you're right though. Like he goes there and like he's pretty much it's almost like the paradise that they describe. O'Neill, he gets to a world, he gets drugged, he gets a lap dance, and then he gets a root, all within the space of like half an hour to an hour. Like he is having a good day at work. You know, I mean, sure, afterwards kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as that little
Always
afternoon of his
does
life,
the morning after.
it's not the worst morning after ever.
But that's what gets me is every time they go to a new world, they're just like, oh, here, have some food. And they're like, oh, okay.
Straight up.
Like,
Yeah,
you don't,
sweet.
like that
Well,
could kill you, man. Like,
Yeah, O'Neill did say strictly rations from now on after that.
yeah.
So
Yeah, because eating the food, that was the problem, not
yeah,
That's
right.
Yeah.
He's like, rations, which now include dummies.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We need rubbers.
Yeah.
Actually,
I wonder if they're camouflage.
Where'd my dick go? Where is it?
and as far as like,
See, again, that works
Yeah.
on 2 levels. That
That
was
was
good.
good.
That was...
and what I really like about him, you know, going there and having intimacy with a woman was just a really great mood setting set by Teal'c.
I believe this woman wishes to spend time with O'Neill.
Thank you, Teal.
Yeah, good on you, Teal.
Yeah. What a wingman.
The issue I had here, O'Neill had his shirt off, and that it's a classic mistake in all movies and shows with the dog tags. And the dog tag is on the lower chain, whereas I believe one should be on the higher chain and the lower chain in case you get shot. Am I correct?
Yes.
Just a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, no,
Thought I'd
that's-
bring that up.
Yeah, rip one off. Was there only one dog tag?
No, he had 2, but it was on the same
Oh, yeah.
coil,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Rookies.
Oh, mate. They obviously didn't have their Air Force guy at that point.
Well, and as far as that, I mean, even up until this point, how they've set up the episode, what we believe, but even come the end, and we are speaking about the whole thing, is that we know these people are aging 1 year every day of their lives. So at most, you know, they say we're given 100 days, so they're living to 100 years as far as they're telling us. But Carter makes reference at the start of the episode, I can't see anyone over 40 here. And they're like, okay, well, that's fine, but honestly, where are the 40-year-olds? Like, where are the 50-year-olds or the 50-day-olds, the 75-day-olds? Like, they never actually... They almost set up a question at the start, only to never pay it. It was like a really weird question to
It's
raise
like,
so early in the episode.
Justin Timberlake's In Time, when they reach 21 and then don't
Stop.
age.
Yeah. Only obviously...
Yeah,
Oh,
did they didn't explain that, did they?
yeah.
It's
No.
just sort of... I didn't even question it until you just said
No, I
then,
didn't
so-
care about old people.
Yeah.
I wanted to see an old people orgy.
And
And then the poor bastard, he goes and has a root, which is, yeah, good on you, mate, but now you're married.
yeah.
Like,
Next minute, whoa.
like that is worse.
And didn't she drop that on him like days and days later when he well and truly started aging? Like he'd just gotten over the last betrayal that she gave him, that she's making him age a year a day, or even more because of his physiology already.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, but you ate the marriage pizza slash cake. And he's just like, what? She's, well, that's our tradition. He's like, yeah, I'd been here 8 minutes. Don't force tradition on me, woman. Like, and again, I'm an alien who's walked through a big ring. You don't know what kind of shit I'm carrying around either. But she was very welcome to throw it out.
She actually said, I'd like to know your customs as well. So I'm like, oh, well, there's this certain custom where you Jesus.
I thought you were going to have like a get out clause of marriage. Nah, just...
And because
That's a custom. What are you going to do? Like, I'm married, so...
And because she did, I assume, listen to his wishes for the rest of the episode as long as that storyline went for, because she just sat there while he sat in the temple, and she didn't ever force, like, again, more relations on him. As far as I know, they brought it up at the end, and she's there saying, "Are you going to spend the rest of your life not making love?" He's like, "Well, I hope not." You know, but that was when he's well and truly accepted. By that point, she's just like, "Oh, so you really want to go home? You don't want to be here?" And she was just like, so
They were going to
submissive,
send
I guess, of-
Viagra, but Carter was already angry because it's kind of funny because when he gets the virus and becomes old, Carter sprouts this. Only a virus can spread bodily contact. Some are airborne. But only one of us passed out last night, and that was Jack. And she's like scowling. She's so angry. So she's obviously still got a bit of a hangover from Broca Divide.
Yeah.
She likes him.
Has anyone got the name of the writer for this episode? It wasn't your favourite
No,
writer,
it
Robert
wasn't
C. Cooper.
Robert C. Cooper.
I only asked
It
because
was-
when they...
Oh my God, Catherine Powers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What
Which
did she previously given us?
She gave us
She gave us
Emancipation.
Emancipation.
Yeah.
Just a little side note, and we're gonna have to put
She
this
didn't
up.
give it to us. She forced it down our throats.
Yeah,
We're
that's
gonna have to put this up on our socials, so check them out. I IMDb'd her, and just have a look at her IMDb profile picture.
Do we have to?
It's pretty damn good.
IMDb have to take actors' ages off their profiles now.
Yeah, if they want to. Yeah, like, I go there
Just
all the
put
time to
their
find
date of
ages.
birth
on.
Yeah. Like, who cares?
I'm pretty sure you can Google how old is Sean Penn and it shows you.
Guys,
What about anyone
guys.
else?
Oh, wow. That looks like...
That's
a
like a
glamour
full
shot.
blown.
It's like a glamour
That's-
shot 1980s lounge room
Yeah.
sort of style, you know.
My
full
mum
at
has
home.
one of those sitting in our living room right now.
A
Same,
picture, a
same
picture of
backdrop.
Catherine Powers.
Can you get her that for Christmas?
And a short candle next to it. A brief lifespan.
That's
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good. I can't tell if she's hot or not. Just old.
Yeah, that's where it
She's
gets
not.
you, man. That's why
She's
she put a
not.
glamour shot up there.
Yeah.
People will never know.
Now, the only reason I ask about old R.C. Cooper is because when Carter is, going through the investigation with Doc, what's the name?
Fraser.
With Doc Fraser, and trying to work out what's causing this, and they're like, "Oh, it's not it's disease, but it's not mutating, it's replicating." And I just had that word replicating, and I'm like, and I just like I got a shiver go down, and it doesn't mean anything to you, Rhys, but for the rest of the people in the room and those
Star Trek
haters of
thing.
R.C. Cooper, it's
I
just
feel like Carter and Fraser were both really dumbed down in this episode.
Yeah.
Fraser, here, listen to this.
All right, these are the blood samples you brought back. Now look at the strange particulate in there. So that's from one of the Argosians? Now, that's from Colonel O'Neill. Wow, what is it? Something we don't have a word for yet.
Not yet. And then later in the
Dun,
episode,
dun, dun.
and then later
Oh,
in the
yeah, they
episode,
say.
she calls them nanites, and it's like,
Didn't they say nanocytes as well?
Well, you talk about them being a little bit simple. I felt a little bit awkward with, it was named Cynthia,
Yeah.
because she was clearly older than the woman that had the child. Like, I know there are, like, Cynthia, let's say she's 35 days old, so she's 35 years old in our time, I guess. She didn't speak like a 35-year-old. She spoke like a child that was a couple of, like, like...
she was a couple of
No,
weeks.
I know, but the woman...
She was 35 days old. She did pretty well.
But the 21-day-old that had had the baby had so much more... Like, everyone else in that whole village...
That birthing scene put me off a bit, though. Was it just me, or was the sounds the
was
mother was
clean.
making?
Yeah, mate. You
Really-
mate, you need to
I
go.
loved
You need
it.
to go to war like Brendan
Really
and I.
oddly
Okay.
Go a
sexual.
couple of hours at it.
That memories are numb.
Yeah. Like, you don't realise how much it hurts because Badana was squeezing my hand and the gas tube together.
Yeah,
I was like,
I get it
come on.
hurts, but she was making
Like, loosen the grip.
Oh, this is hurting me.
Yeah, like,
Please
come
stop.
on.
I get that it hurts, but it sounded more like she was enjoying it. And what Daniel was saying didn't help either. So
Yeah.
I made something.
Oh,
great.
No,
We all know what
You know what,
happens when
I
you
was
make
actually-
something.
I actually came across one of your old things that you made up today. The cat noises
ocelot?
from the Broca Divide. Yeah. And
I
that
thought you
was-
were going to say the Spice Girls video.
Oh,
God.
we might
You
share
put
that
that up
on
on
our
our
Facebook.
Facebook.
Bang.
Hang on,
That's
what?
the
And
one
have you seen
downside.
it?
No.
The one
bro.
downside to this Facebook on this day is that video will never die now.
And you know what's ironic about you singing "Stop" by Spice Girls is that you never stopped singing that entire chorus.
my
Like,
God, I
you
need
just
to- I need to
Oh,
see
he
this
kept going,
video.
Onto it.
but
You
it's a
ready?
short enough video. Is that it just it starts again, starts replaying as soon as
so
it
good.
finishes. It's great.
Brilliant.
Here we go.
Oh, really? We're watching this. Really?
Yeah, we're doing it.
Oh, God. This is great because this is exactly what we need for a podcast medium is visuals.
Oh, it's got the audio.
We'll stick.
That's not me singing. Yes, some dancing, the stop
You didn't
dance.
even need to practice those dances.
Oh, no, I
Oh
can-
my God.
I know-
Ricky Martin, eat your heart out.
I know that
And
dance.
it looks, it's like a lava lamp.
Brilliant.
You just can't look away.
You know
So
what?
good.
I'm going to make that into a series of GIFs.
Yeah, I know. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do.
Do you know what's the most
good.
sort of insulting part is I did that in front of the statue of Mitch's dad.
I did.
That's
I
on-
did not know that
That's
side
on
of the story.
Jackson Street. It's
And
on
at every
Jackson
school
Street.
disco ever. Don't forget that.
Right after the Nutbush.
Jesus.
So, brief candle.
I did want to say something before we go on about old Doc Fraser. She comes in, she's got, I've got the results, the blood tests. And what has she got? She brings in a floppy disk.
That was
Jesus.
very old school.
Where are we?
I did like that. So here's I've just edited together just some of the parts of this lady giving birth as soon as they walk through the Stargate.
Push. 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 You're doing just fine.
Where did you learn how to do this?
On a dig in the Yucatan. After the first one, I made friends with the local midwives, and they taught me a lot.
You never cease to amaze me with all your talents.
Thank you.
That sounds,
That is good. That is
Maybe I'm
sus.
just,
Yeah.
sounds like a lot of movies I watch.
Hell yeah.
Oh, thanks very much for that, Matty, because Shanksy there...
Or I
Daniel-
could actually picture him going, in a dig in the Yucatan.
Where did you learn that?
Just thrusting away.
Shut up, Daniel, shut up.
Yeah. And then Jack's just there critiquing it, going, "Good job, well done."
Yeah.
Well, and just to bring up the other member of the team that I think we've been pretty quiet on so far, Teal'c. Now,
I thought you meant Lincoln.
Yeah, me too.
oh, yeah.
Where is he?
Like, you ever-
Is that the go-to joke now?
I think it is, yeah. Of
course it
at least
is.
it's
Now.
At least it's finally been thrown on someone, not me. It's only taken us
It's only
8
been, what,
episodes.
8 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. And one of our Get Into Geek movie podcasts as well. So thanks very
Yeah,
much.
which the story was I was at a male gangbang, so it's not...
What do you mean?
Yeah, but
story?
we were.
story. Like,
I mean, the news was.
the factual evidence. We've also got that video up on our socials.
You were at Game of Thrones doing a male gangbang. That's
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Got, I've videoed my moves. Make it into a GIF.
No, I was talking about Teal'c because Teal'c, and no, we're only talking about Brief Candle in this podcast, but as the weeks go on, we'll get to some episodes where we get to the stage, and we touched on the other week when, with regards to the Nox, is that the government comes in and says, we're not happy, we haven't got enough weapons. And Teal'c goes, oh, well, what are you after?
Yeah.
I know a place we can get a weapon. In this, there's gold writings, that Daniel Jackson's looking, and I don't know whether it was post O'Neill being affected. I think it was, because that happened pretty early on. And Daniel's like, oh, they're gold writings. Like, what, do you know that? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's an ancient dialect. It's this, blah, blah, blah. Many people used to be able to speak it, or whatever he says about it. And Daniel's like, why didn't you tell me? You did not inquire. I'm like, dude, I know you don't say anything. Your word economy is so small. Maybe speak up about that.
Just some relevance, anything.
Anything that maybe could have helped the guy that you now know is like 20 years older than what he was yesterday.
And
I don't know.
Do you know what I think's really interesting is the fact that they were saying how this was place was sort of looked like Peloponnnesia and Greece and all that sort of stuff. Suddenly, ancient Greek and ancient Egyptian are both ancient Gould.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
right.
like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, you're right. What was the ancient god's name? That they were waiting-
Pelops.
Pelops, yeah. Just dipping his toes in a lot of different ponds, I guess. I don't know, just testing out the waters. But
Well, I guess you could think of it as later there's a Goa'uld called Nearty, and she does experiments with humans as well. So
yeah, that's right.
could be. I always thought it was something like that
Yeah.
because I don't think you see Pelops, do you?
I don't think so. No, he doesn't.
That's why I always figured it was Nearty. But anyway,
So that's what it was, hey? It was just like a big experiment. What was the end goal for the experiment, though? It was to, like, create...
see the evolution and see how good a human host could be, basically, in terms of...
Yeah, was the idea he was just
Yeah.
trying to breed like the perfect hot host for himself?
Yeah.
Given
and
that
maybe
it's just a planet full of hot people,
They
did
might have
he
all-
just want to? Was he really vain and just wanted a hot host?
Yeah.
Well, they've done.
I was just
They seem to be
assuming-
going for that.
Organic powers or whatever happens when you evolve far enough.
Yeah,
Because we
maybe.
know eventually what happens to humans when they evolve enough. Maybe he was aware of that.
Try to speed it up and see what happens.
Yeah,
after
trying to
that.
get a
And I guess we ask this question every episode. I mean, I know we're only 8 in, but like about placement of episodes, you know, we said Emancipation probably should have come a little bit later, and then even the Jack episode where he was in some ways reunited with his dead son. How do you feel about this being, you know, this, I guess, being the MacGuffin of the episode or the storyline where you got an ancient Goa'uld who was experimenting on humans? Like, is this a good thing to explore this early in the series, do you think? Or a bad spot?
I guess it's probably the only way to do it because sort of thus far, except for the Nox, all we've really experienced is these really simple living, almost like tribe cultures. There's not really a metropolitan, you know, anyone past the Bronze Age or anything like that. So I guess the only way to have crazy technological things like this is for it to be the Goa'uld, and this is a way for them to not sort of indirectly encounter the Goa'uld, but not have to go to spend all that time going to battle with Pelops and that sort of stuff.
Show the technology that the Goa'uld have to offer or have created or what have in their hands.
I think with a lot of
having
these,
to go too far into the
and also shows that, you know, the Goa'uld are just treating these people like they're, you know, property,
animals,
slaves, nothing, just, you know, just experimenting on them, you know, for their own benefit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these episodes, especially the standalones, they kind of have a cool idea, but they're not sure how to do it, so they have to weave in some Goa'uld backstory just to make it relevant.
Although I'm not sure if Carter's pretty much the smartest one on the team. I'm not sure if her math actually
She's the only woman on the team.
the smartest one on the team.
Oh, I thought you said smartest woman. I'm going, what?
Well, Daniel gets a bit anyway. Given how smart she is and how good she is with you know, science and math, I don't know if her math quite checks out here.
I think Pelops brought humans here to be lab rats. From what we've been able to translate so far, he wanted to know how humans evolve. So he shortened the lifespan to about 1/250th of normal.
So instead of having to wait 100,000 years to see how human physiology evolves, he could do it in 100?
I didn't even have to make that. That was awesome.
Our first sound effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I'm no math genius either. I spent
250,000.
Yeah, I think that's wrong.
It's. But again, like I say, it's not the first time they've made her seem really, really dumb in this episode. The other one of Carter's weaknesses is apparently childbirth.
What? But don't look at me. I don't know what to do.
That is the one and only time you will ever hear Carter say she doesn't know how to do something in this entire series. And it happens to be, you know, giving birth to children, which physiologically she can do.
a man.
Yeah, she's really one of the boys, you know. And then, like you said, Daniel's the first one to go, all right.
Yeah. Step back, guys.
And they did it with no supplies. I noticed that there was no malp. When they came through the gate at the very, very start of the episode,
Yeah.
because there was those stairs, the way it was designed, the malp would have just...
There is a note about that on the wiki page.
Oh, is there?
They brought it through later. When
Yeah, they did too.
when they were
But normally they'll
digging
they'll send them out through first,
Yeah, it makes
make
no
sure everything's
sense.
okay.
in. Yeah.
And
Make
then send
sure
it
there's
through.
a DHD.
Yeah.
And we might find out about that later. Breathable atmosphere.
Temperature.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And quite clearly,
all the good
no
stuff.
threat waiting for them as soon as they walk in with a gun in their face. Yeah, you're right. Another little piece of convenience in the writing there.
But they do. Yeah, they get through some of that in the first season. They have to nut through. They're like, oh yeah, that's right. I think they did it again in one of these episodes that we're about to do in the future. Was have an incoming traveler, and then the gate opens.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, how do you know? It's an incoming wormhole, mate.
Yeah. Well, Rhys, you're the reason why we're here every week. Just because you're a great bloke.
call,
I mean, you know.
Mitch.
So,
You're welcome.
how 8 in, and we just established the last 5 minutes. This is a different episode. They're not essentially. I know the O'Neill thing that I stated at the start of the recording that they are somewhat retreading old territory. But as far as the aging thing and the Goa'uld, it's not just an all-out battle, guns and fighting and stuff. 8 episodes in, how does this one sit with you?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought it was. I thought it had some pretty good humour in it. Obviously, it's very slowly bringing in all the technology and getting to know more about the Goa'uld and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's sort of more each episode by each episode, and then just a little bit of information from the whole story chucked in. But Yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it at the moment. So there's nothing I hate about it. So that's a bonus.
Now, it was all bad news, the nanites or whatever they're called, from this. They didn't get anything positive out of their research into that they were able to take off and make into a medication that we're never going to hear of again, did they?
No,
Or-
they
Not
don't.
that
They
I'm
don't try to
aware.
advance things too much.
Yeah.
No, because at the end, don't they can't actually manipulate the nanites. All they can do is just shut down the terminal in the
Yeah.
in the statue, and that just makes the nanites inert. So that's.
Yeah.
Then again, you think they'd maybe take some of that tech back with them.
I was just
to
thinking
see
that
what
could be
they
a great weapon. Like, you imagine making that into an airborne weapon, fire it into enemy territory, switch it on, everyone goes to sleep, walk in and do what you want.
Good call.
Do you reckon when people do get to 100 days, they just don't wake up from that sleep, or what do you reckon happens?
Yeah, I wonder what happens, yeah. Because, like they said, it's artificially... I don't know, it was weird. I guess that maybe that's
Well,
just
they
O'Neill.
age.
Yeah, the
like
body
they
just shuts
age,
down.
but for him it was meant
But
to
we
imitate
didn't
age.
see anybody there over 40.
Yeah,
so
and that's
it's
what I find so weird.
Even
Like,
when you're 100 days old, do you still look 40, and then you just don't wake up?
yeah.
And they just go, oh, he's had his 100
We
days.
did talk about that when you were...
Oh, sorry.
Back in your box. Sorry, Lincoln wasn't here.
So do we know... Yeah, because I read that it was Stephen Barnes. Was the...
So he has the story credit, and then Catherine Powers wrote the teleplay.
Right.
So obviously, old mate Steve just
Well-
can't write a TV
Well,
script.
yeah, that was his first and only.
He wrote
Sorry,
the one.
Steve, but
See
you
ya,
know
Stevie.
that's
He wrote
all
the-
I'm assuming.
The graphic novel.
Yeah.
He came into the writers' room for a day and went, "Nah, I'm out." He wrote one. He wrote one word on the whiteboard. Goes, Robert C. Cooper works here. I'm out.
Boom. Yeah. Screw you, Robert.
He just walked in, just wrote O'Neill, STD, work with that.
Yeah.
Send me my check.
Mic drop.
With his parlay of ladies in the back seat, and his Ferrari without the roof, driving on the coast, drinking champagne everywhere. Suddenly he's Leo in Wolf of Wall Street. We're all putting shit on him now. The joke's on us guys, I think. He's doing fine.
I don't think he had an ending to this story because to me, this is probably one of the weakest endings to a story we've seen so far.
Yeah, how so?
Well, first of all, there's that freeze frame ending. Which,
Oh my, yeah.
come on, guys.
Yeah,
Come on,
I didn't
guys.
note that down, but I'm
Was
like,
that on the
really?
statue or something?
No, it's on O'Neill. It's just like a freeze frame ending.
Freeze frame.
He's just like stopped mid acting.
It's very like 80s
Was he?
movie.
And he was still old. I reckon it was kind of like a if he ever dies, we can share this at one of his memorials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to
Yeah.
me.
Remember the time he was older than what he was when he died?
Yeah.
That was fun.
He was
And then-
acting. He was an actor.
And then this is how they wrap it up.
Our tests indicate that your body has been cleansed of the machines that plagued you.
I figure the immune system must attack them if they aren't operating.
From now on, you and your people should age at a normal rate.
What about Jack?
Me? I'll probably move to Florida. Get into a little retirement home of some kind.
You look pretty out of place there at your age.
Why? I look like my grandfather.
Look is the operative word here. If our hypothesis is right, the nanocytes in your system were only meant to imitate aging. They weren't meant to start the process in a full-grown adult.
What are you saying to me?
Well, without these little buggers in your system to maintain the changes, you should return to normal within a week or two.
Ooh, how convenient. That's good.
Oh, just hearing Teal'c at the start, like that doesn't seem like a thing that Teal'c would be the one to come and say, like, the machines in your body are blah blah blah. I wonder if
Yeah.
it's just like it's a
It's like-
line that they write and they don't know how to deliver it, so they give it to the monotone character, and he delivers it. You're like, that sounds pretty
Yeah. It's
pretty
like-
reasonable.
It's like a kid who
He's an
just
alien.
found out something and has to tell another friend. Like, oh, guess what?
Santa
Claus isn't real, yeah.
Pass it on. Pass it on.
I have to say though, Richard Dean Anderson does give good old man though. Like
He does.
when he flicked over to that old man,
Yeah.
that
He's
voice
almost as
and
good as
everything.
Ben Browder at Old Man. Old Man accents.
Yeah.
The Neanderthal O'Neill, the old man O'Neill.
Oh
He's
no,
bloody good.
Neanderthal O'Neill was just an ocelot. We've established that.
That's right.
The other thing that I noticed is that O'Neill said that he was 40 in this episode, which is what all the fans blew up about because in another future episode, Fragile Balance, the year that it shows his ID on the screen and it says John O'Neill, and he was born in 1952. Which would make him 45 in 1997.
That's because all the nerds that are, it's their job to make those little inserts on computer screens don't get scripts and they just make shit up and just go,
Yeah.
yeah, let's just do that. And then suddenly
Yeah.
it goes to bite him in the ass later on.
Yeah, but they could have been
they
released
could have been
5 years later.
Could have just done it. Yeah. I
They
mean, that could've
recorded
just-
it in 92.
He
and
might have
released
just
it in
been
97.
a little bit kind of, I'm 40 ish, in my 40s.
Well,
We're both in our 30s. Brief Candle is also a quotation from William Shakespeare's play Macbeth. I believe that's where they got it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I just thought I might do the quote.
Oh, we're
Please
gonna
do.
we're gonna end on a.
Yeah.
clear your throat.
Yeah.
We started on proper English. Now we're going to finish on
That's
proper
right.
English.
Bit of more of a
Bringing it
bit
full
more
circle, old
diction
chap.
into it. Out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that thrusts and frets his hour upon the stage,
He thrusted, all right.
and then is heard no more. So, thank you, mate. Just bringing a bit of culture into the.
Well, it's good you bring up Macbeth because usually they're all about the Wizard of Oz. So
Yeah,
even
that's
the
true.
show itself is venturing around.
Yeah.
So good on you guys.
Good
and
call.
we don't even have to credit Robert C. Cooper for that little piece of
Thanks,
literature. That's Brief Candle. We are Get Into Geek. Thanks a lot, boys.
You?
We're definitely back next week. So
yeah.
you guys are coming back. Yeah.
I have a feeling.
Well,
Mike
if I'm
might
not a millionaire,
be here
but-
next week either, but
Yeah, maybe.
he's got a thing.
He's got a thing. Yeah, several things probably. Wonder what their names are.
One of them better be Rhys.
Shellcake and Nemron.
Lefty and righty.
Get Into Geek. You can find us on all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, simply at Get Into Geek. You can hit us up with on an email as well if you want to start sending in some questions, things that you want us to cover in future episodes, because God knows we cover everything we want to, but I'm sure there's stuff that we're forgetting that maybe you're screaming at whatever you're listening to us on, I guess. If you want to hit us up just on the socials or getintogate@gmail.com.
Yeah,
and
we'll start putting up some posts on the Facebook page as well each time we go to do an episode. So if you want to chuck
Yeah.
a comment on there about anything you want to add to the episode,
do it a little
just,
bit earlier in the week and stuff. So, look out. We need someone on the social
I did
media
get
job.
a question here from. Oh no, it's Matt Gibson. It says Craig.
Yeah.
So that has no relevance.
Just try to,
There's no question mark.
behind the curtain. Behind the curtain.
I've got one.
So
oh, no.
Craig, if you're listening, that's a shout out.
It's the only friend I know outside of this room who listens to watches Stargate.
And it's just your second Facebook account. Just catfishing people.
You can also find, what can we call them? The umbrella company, the parent company, Get Into Geek, and getintogeek.com and all the socials there as well. Of course, we have hit late September, early October, so we have the influx of superhero TV shows coming back from the States. So we've started breaking those down over on Get Into Geek, so you can find that and Get Into Geek on SoundCloud and iTunes, and check it all out, getintogeek.com. My name is Mitch Lewis. You can find me at Mitch_Lewis on Twitter and Instagram. Maddie?
Hi, Bitch Matty on Instagram.
Christopher?
I am at the Flying Gibson on most of the socials.
At the Brendan Gibson. So just make sure you get the real one. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You got a blue tick or?
Oh yeah, soon. Coming soon. I guess I better use it.
As soon as my followers get to double figures.
That's why I just claimed it first, and then I can not have to worry about it later.
Keep an eye out for the blue tick and don't go after those imposters. The fake Brendan Gibson, don't follow that account.
Get a blue tick.
It's a cartoon from the 90s.
It's coming back live action, did you know?
Oh,
Boom,
is it?
it's happening.
Everything's
The
live
tick
action.
is coming back. We'll
Aladdin
cover that on
live
Get Into
action.
Geek at some stage, no doubt. So, Brief Candle, we will be back next week. Very exciting, boys. Episode 9, Thor's Hammer.
Yes, my
Ooh,
son.
finally.
Yeah,
Is that a penis metaphor?
Stop talking about penises. We've covered this.
GetIntoGeek.com.